All right. So you're welcome once again for the presentation class. Uh, in preparation for your CIPM exams. Sincerely, I wish you all the best. Make the best use of this. This is a little bit about myself, or if you want to know a little bit about me. I think you can get to know more about me later. Okay. But let's go quickly, with a little bit about presentation itself. Okay. What is your understanding of presentation? That's the first thing I will want to review with you. Presentation is always a structured way of passing across an information in an orderly manner. That's why it's structured in an orderly manner. You want to pass across an information. In most cases, we think presentation is always formal, but it's not necessarily formal. Okay. For instance, I told you to do an elevator speech when we started. Okay, an extempore speech. Okay, it's still a presentation. You are passing across an information, an intention, a viewpoint. Okay, to achieve a desired result, which is your objective. And that's why I said your objective must first of all be in your mind before you even start a presentation, because your objective will inform even the body of your presentation. Okay, this is very important. And we also know that presentation is all about delivery of it can be delivery of speech, lecture, even at home. Every one of us make presentation every day. That's what you must understand. You make presentation to your sisters, your parents, with an objective of achieving an intention. So that is what differentiates presentation from every other dialogue. Every other dialogue may be just rambling talks. Even if there is no clear intention or objective in mind, it might not exactly be a presentation. So presentation is always to win over your audience, even to a point of view. All right. It may be at an interview. It may be a sales speech. It may be, it may be even presenting a project to a team as a team lead or member of the team at your office or wherever, or to your boss. Okay.
Let's talk.
So you must understand that this is all about presentation. And so presentation, therefore, is a specific aspect or a special type of communication. All right? It's a special type of communication. You must understand that very quickly. Okay, I've said it can be formal or informal. We know that. Formal is well structured, thought through before well packaged, and is intentional. So in structured, information, which most presentation tends to be, there is always room to prepare, to do audience analysis, to do research, to do case studies. All right. Examples, I've given you some examples before: interviews, report writing, doing a pitch, okay, training, seminars. This can all advertising pitches, project, team pitches. These are all formal presentations. Am I clear? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Then thank you. Then informal presentation, is not exactly structured, not exactly planned. Okay, not exactly intentional. Even to it's just you wish to pass across a message, but it's not like we have in seminars, in training, in sales speech, or in interviews. That's why it's informal. So just telephone dialogue with your pal, with your friend, with your sister. Yes, you want to find out how they are doing, but you don't want to win them over. It's not with an intention of convincing or persuading them to a point of view. This is where presentation is different. In presentation, you want to win them over, you want to persuade them, you want to convince them. Indeed, the highest level of goal in presentation is to convince. And I will speak a little bit about the difference between convincing presentation and persuading presentation. When you persuade, it's almost like you are begging. You are still telling. Okay, but when you are convincing, all the evidences are there, so that the audience himself, okay, makes up his mind without you pushing any further. So persuading still has a little bit of begging to it. And so if your presentation is still more of persuading, it seems you don't have all the facts put together and put across to your audience. That's why you are persuading. But when you are convincing, the audience has all the facts already, and so is able to make up his mind without much more push from you. So the highest level of presentation is one that convincing. But indeed, all presentations must persuade, at least. If your presentation is not persuading, it's just an informal, ordinary conversation. Okay, and I also thought from the beginning I should explain the communication process to you. You know, it's all about transmitting the message from a sender to a receiver through a channel, which can be, the channel can be a written channel. The channel can be, your body of language, can be a telephone, it can be electronic, whatever. It's always an intention of receiving a feedback. So you must clarify your feedback. What's your feedback? Is it just a nod? Is it a yes? Is it a feedback to draw people to come and vote for you? Is it a feedback of even inciting anger in the person? You must clarify your feedback. Your feedback will inform even the message you are passing across, the pitch, the tone, and how you will even package the message. Your feedback, which is your objective, is very important in every communication. So communication that has no feedback, therefore, is termed as ineffective communication. That is, the communication is not achieving the intended objective. It is not achieving the intended feedback. So when you are told in your office, when you are told by your boss, by your supervisor in office that you are ineffective in your communication, it shows that your communication is not achieving the intended feedback. For instance, the feedback I have for this tutorial session is that you will not only understand, but you validate that this has deepened your understanding beyond just reading even online alone. Okay, that's the feedback I expect even after this. And so you must understand that good communicators seek feedback. They don't wait for feedback. Please note that down. Good communicators, good presenters, they seek feedback, just like good leaders also seek feedback. So whether you are presenting, to yourself, okay, that's why it is good to also look at feedback via mirror, via recording sessions, to see how you have veered. Okay, so it's very good. Don't forget that. This is in communication theory. This is the diagram we usually use. Okay, we said communication is from a sender. Okay, the sender will pass a message, and we encode the message. Okay, and from the receiver's end, the receiver will decode the message. So messages are in cue forms, in code forms. So if this message cannot be decoded by the receiver, you cannot have the intended feedback. The intended feedback will be difficult if your receiver cannot decode the message. What do you think are some of the reasons why a receiver may not be able to decode the message? Is there any? What do you think may be one of the reasons why a receiver may not be able to decode a message? Please unmute your mic and give me a feedback.
For example, if the message is not clear enough, like there's no clarity of the message.
Oh, good. So clarity is one. Very good. Very good. Very good. Clarity is one. Apart from clarity, do you think of any other thing? Okay. Okay. Maybe what do you think may be the problem if a receiver is not able, why a receiver may not be able to decode a message?
Maybe lack of interest. I don't.
Okay. So maybe the presenter has not been able even to, gain the attention of the receiver. okay, and that may now result in lack of interest. Maybe that's true. But you also understand that when your language is above your understanding, you are speaking higher than their comprehension, it may also result in not being able to decode. Another reason may be that the language you are using is different from the language that they hear. The language, for instance, of the generation Z, when they are talking among themselves, the generation below the millennia, when they are speaking to themselves, even the millennia, when they are speaking to themselves, a generation Y or a baby boomer may not be able to decode because they use some culture codes only known to their generation. So interpretation by the receiver is dependent on being on the same wavelength with you, the sender. That means you must do your audience analysis very well if you want your communication to be effective. For you to understand their cultural nuances and to be able to speak at their level of understanding, level of education, it is very, very important. All right? So these are some of these. All right. Well, let's look at types of communication, maybe verbal, maybe non-verbal. I think that's clear. Spoken words, written words, are kinds of verbal, but non-verbal has to do with, sign languages. It's still communication, because communication is just passing across a message. You can pass across a message with just winking your eye, with just your hand gesture, even with even your stiff body language. The way you hold your hands may communicate something to the receiver. So you must understand this, therefore, that to be effective in communication, your body language must amplify your verbal language. If your body language does not amplify your verbal language, we say there is a dissonance. There is a disharmony between your body language and the words you are speaking. You cannot, for instance, be addressing an audience on a very sensitive matter, even, and be laughing. If it's very sensitive, very touchy, issues maybe of politics, maybe someone, you went to console someone and they are in a grieving mood, in a weeping mood, okay, very serious matter like that, and you are laughing. They will think you are insensitive, and no matter the weight of the words you want to pass across, there is a dissonance, and so the desired feedback of being consoled will not be achieved. Another thing that can cause communication to be ineffective, apart from the ones we have mentioned, is noise. When there are unwanted cues, unwanted signals, and interferences in the message you are passing across, it might make your communication ineffective. Apart from language, we said, apart from even the mood of your audience, and apart from even you speaking above their comprehension. So these noise in communication is anything that causes distraction from having effective communication. They are noise. So noise is not when you raise your voice. Noise is not, when you are speaking at a high decibel. No, noise is anything in communication that interferes with effective understanding or that colors your understanding of what is being passed across. Am I clear on this? Okay. Am I clear on this, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's look quickly at establishing objectives of presentation. Why is this important? Don't forget, I made mention of the fact that your objective or the intended purpose of your dialogue, of your presentation, will inform, will affect even the body of your presentation, the content of your presentation. We affect the we affect the how, we affect the what, we affect the where, okay, of your presentation. all right? Your objective, what you want to drive home, all right? So I said here, there are several situations where you need to present. It may be a public speaking, as in business, corporate setting, or even an academic setting. You have presented before when you defended your project in maybe at your A levels, at your university level, or at your postgraduate level. You have defended your project. You have presented. Okay, it might also be, even at informal gatherings like religious gatherings or social gatherings. As an MC at an event, you are presenting, okay? Likewise, you might have to defend your course of action to your superior in your office in a corporate setting, okay? You might have to win your friend to your opinion, okay, in even an informal setting. So presentation occasions, we find it replete in everyday life. So it's not only when you're in the office. And that's why this course is very important, okay? And there are several factors that can militate against effective presentation, okay? You mentioned some. Some factors have to do with the presenter. Some factors have to do with the audience. And other factors have to do with the message. Don't forget the communication framework I explained earlier on, the communication theory. Don't forget, you have the core aspect of communication theory is the sender, the message, the receiver, then the feedback. The feedback closes the loop of communication. Without the feedback, the loop of communication is not closed, and you must understand this. The loop of communication is not closed without a feedback. So we are saying that when you want to ensure that the loop of communication is closed, you must look at these four core aspects of players in communication. Both starting from the sender to the receiver, the message, then the feedback. Okay, in the feedback, are there noises? In the feedback, are there colorations? With the sender, is he very clear? Is he knowledgeable? Is his tone okay? Appropriate for the situation? Is he using in terms of message, okay, itself that's being passed across? Is he using the right cues, the right examples, the medium for passing across the message? If it's a technological medium, are there interferences there? Okay, that are there too many pictures that will distract from the message being passed across? That's the message. With the receiver, just like you examine with the sender, you have to also evaluate his state of mind. Is he in a state of mind where he or she can receive a very serious message? If you are passing across a serious message, what is his level of comprehensibility in terms of education, in terms of understanding and learning? Okay, so you have to look at all these factors. If you want to look at factors that can militate against effective communication, you have to look at all these players and all these key parameters in communication. Do we understand that? Hello? Isiani?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So there are some things that tells you when you're not communicating effectively. There are some telltales, some signs, some of these necessary signs, that shows ineffective communication on the part of the sender or the presenter. One of it is unnecessary repetition. Unnecessary repetition. On the part of the sender or the presenter also is when he's using a lot of fill-ins. That shows ineffective presentation. You must be able to control your breath. You must be able to control your cultural nuances. This shows effective presentation. You must be able to control your body language. Use your hands and your eyes, your facial expression appropriately. Not too much and And some people don't use it at all. They are just bland in presentation. It shows ineffective presentation. Your presentation must be such that communicates life, okay? So that the hearers get immersed. It's like they are drinking deep into what you're presenting. Another telltale sign of ineffective presentation is ambiguity. When the audience do not exactly understand what you are saying, maybe your language, you are using technical terms that they don't understand. Don't show off at presentation. Your intention is to convince at best and at least to persuade. That is your intention for every communication. Don't forget that. All right? So don't use ambiguous technical words that your audience do not understand. If you are speaking to a professional body that, where the members or the audience are used to such technical languages, fine. But if it's, you have done a demographic analysis of your audience and is a mixed audience where you have both professionals and unlearned, use simple language that can cut across, in understanding by everyone. One telltale sign of ineffective communication is also inability to convince the audience. Inability to, to convince, to get the audience to deliver on the feedback expected. Then you begin to see some audience begin to sleep. It shows that you are not engaging enough. You are not engaging them enough. Okay. So audience boredom, sleeping, dozing, dragging the foot, okay, impatience to wait through the time. Or it shows that you are not passing across the message, or the message, is not interesting to them. So lack of interest, audience boredom is an example of a telltale sign of effective presentation. Okay? Are we together? Are we together? Good. So I gave some case studies, which the CIPM in their curriculum also said we should look at. One case study of presentation is if, for instance, you are in the sales department or you are the HR department, you want to sell a new product or a new idea or a new service, or you are in a consulting firm, just like PwC, where me works, and you want to pass at, you want to sell a service to one of your customers, one of your clients. Okay, the first thing you must understand is that in such sales pitch or product pitch, the purpose in most cases is to create awareness, which will convince your audience to buy. You must be clear about the purpose of your presentation before you know how to put the pitch. This is important. So, and don't forget, we said sales promotion, is all about convincing as a basis for positive impact and success. You must convince. So you must have facts. You must have both not only the fact about the product, but what it will do for the audience. The fact about the product is called futures. In sales promotions, when it comes to introducing a product or service, facts about the product are called futures. While what it will do, how it will help the audience to solve a problem, is called benefits. So what you pitch to an audience to move them emotionally are not futures. What you must pitch to them are benefits. Benefits of using your product, of buying your product, because they have a lot of competing products, a lot of competing companies coming to pitch their own product to them, their own services to them. So you must pitch benefits. Don't just pitch futures. Else, your audience may be persuaded but not convinced. And so the persuasion may not lead to really a buying decision until they are there is a conviction. I think you get it. The difference between futures and benefits. Are we clear about that? Okay, great. Now,
I
persuade.
couldn't hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. I said, I hope you are clear about the difference. I gave the differentiation between benefit presentation and futures presentation. Futures presentation has to do with telling me the characteristics of the product. For instance, you want to pitch this phone, you're saying me this phone has 64 gig, it has a RAM of 2 gig RAM, it has 16 millimeter face, and it is very strong, it is waterproof. What are you pitching to me? You are pitching futures, characteristics. Futures do not exactly move the audience to make a buying decision in sales pitch. What moves them to a buying decision is the benefits. So you will turn those futures into benefits for them. Using this phone, okay, will help them to do something. But before you know the benefit, you must also understand their pain points. What is the problem they want to solve? What is the challenges? So you therefore pitch, okay, a benefit presentation. Sometimes a service or a product that has even a better futures may not win the presentation if the other party that has the weaker future product pitches a benefit presentation. Benefit presentation is you telling me what your product or service, how and what it has to help me solve a problem. People don't want your futures alone. They want solution to their problem. People buy solution. People buy value. All right? This is very important. And we've seen also in HR, as HR people, we, even in putting together our resume, we do a lot of futures resume, not benefit resume. And that is why a lot of recruiters will toss such future resumes aside and not consider them for shortlist. Your future resume just talks about activities, what you do. While your benefit resume tells you the benefits, the achievements that has helped your organization or your team to move towards achieving their goals. Organizations are looking for such achievers. And that's why they will consider your own resume first. Please understand that. So if, for instance, you're introducing yourself as a product, as a brand, to be considered for interviews, you must pitch from the angle of benefit presentation. Your resume must be such that shows accomplishments, achievements, not just activities, not just futures, as we've mentioned. Is that clear now? Clara?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, a researcher called David Phillips in 2016 gave us, some insight into how we can do sales promotion effectively. Okay, some of the instance or steps he gave are this. He said, one, you must do something about your body language. In a sales speech, your body language resonates and confirms whatever you are saying. It shows whether you have passion, interest, or you have conviction about your product or your service. All right? It must not be overtly too much, but it must be there to show seriousness to what you are preaching. And one of the ways in which he says you must even do this is you must mirror the consumer's body language. Similar gestures and having similar stance. The consumer is in serious business to listen to you, concerning your pitch about how you will use your service or product to help him solve a problem. Is all pensive up and very serious. But if you came in presenting lackadaisical and without any seriousness. You have not mirrored his body language or our body language. And they may take you as an unserious person who may not take their businesses very seriously. Another thing that David Phillips 2016 said is the structure must be captivating. Okay? Your presentation must be captivating. You must understand the consumer speak in that industry where you are going to pitch. And that's why those in consulting, for instance, if you want to go and make a pitch to people, maybe in advertising industry, okay, we have in amongst our pitch team, maybe someone who understands the advertising lingo very well and can resonate very well with their consumer speak. He may not be the one that put the presentation together, but because he understands clearly how they think, he can help us do a good business of the presentation. Or at worst, if he cannot present, he gives us a lot of insight to the thinking and the mindset of the audience so that we can really have a cut-through presentation. One of the things he also said about structure is that you must have a strategy that strengthens the consumer's goodwill. Okay? We are talking about sequence earlier on. You said, I think, you asked a question about steps to determining the sequence of your point. So this is one of the things that speaks to structure and that speaks to persuasive techniques. Okay, I said it must be logical. It must have a flow, not throwing them off balance, not here and there kind of structure. So that helps you also in being persuasive. Okay. So those are the things that Phillips 2016 said will help you. Don't forget, he said something about body language. He said something about structure. Please don't forget these two things. It may come out in objective, and so you just give these two things, the structure and body language. Now, let's look at another case study. You want to convince employer to give you a job. That's the example I said in terms of recruitment. You are applying for a vacancy. I've told you, number one, how you couch your CV is very important. I've told you it must be benefit focused, not just activity or futures focused. Okay, that is even in preparing your CV or your resume. Then you must understand the fact that you because the presentation to an organization, do a research about what the organization is all about. Okay, understand even why they need someone to fill this new vacancy. All right, do a little bit of research about the management of the organization also. Understand what they're all about. Okay, so as to see whether your experiences can be tweaked to show forth benefit or value as an answer to what they do and what they need in the organization. This is very important. Then you will now structure your message. I will say the structure in such because you don't have all the time in an interview, all right? The structure should be from specific to general. Answer the point immediately with your strongest point, then you can amplify as you go on. If, for instance, they want to follow up, drill down and all that, then you must understand, you must manage your time. This is very important in interview sessions. Manage your time very well. Okay, put your best foot forward. These are some of the ways in which presentations are effective, even when it comes to convincing a client, an employee, convincing an employer to give you a job, that is in recruitment situations. All right, then manage your body language, please, don't forget. All right, if possible, because you have done a lot of background check about the organization, you've done the background check about even the management and all that, you might anticipate the kinds of questions. And so you should practice and practice and practice even these possible questions, even that has to do with experiences, competencies they will need for you to deliver on the job. Don't forget, as much as possible, let your responses show benefit and value, not just the things you've done, but how the things you've done has helped the organizations where you were before, how you've helped them to meet their objectives. Your team, how it helped your team to meet the objective. Okay, so predict follow-up questions, and please leave a lasting experience. All right, I said put the best foot forward when you start, but also leave a lasting experience. Okay, impression. Okay, be courteous. Okay, be personable. Okay, and don't be tense as much as possible. As much as possible. Okay, don't be tense. Be clear. Be audible and enunciate. Your words very well. Enunciation, that is your pronunciation. Don't make it be jumbled. Be very clear as much as possible as you can. These are some of the things you can do in an interview case study. A case study about convincing employers to give you a job. Are you clear? Is it helpful? Baby, is it helpful? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it is.
Good.
Thank you.
Any question up to this stage? Should I go on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Let us do some practice questions here, and let's play together with it. Why is it necessary to determine? Please open your mic because you will give me feedback. All right. Why is it necessary for you to? Sorry, I'm coming. Why is it necessary for you to determine first the objective of your presentation before you commence the presentation? Is it you are there? Can you attempt this question? Why is it first necessary? Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's necessary to determine the objective of the objective of presentation before you make the presentation, so that it gives you so that you can know the content of the presentation first.
Good.
Because when you don't know the objective is sort of like a guideline for you to show you the steps for that presentation. So when you don't have that guideline, you tend to go off on a tangent and start talking about different things because you might have wide knowledge of that particular subject, and you may not hit the key points as you should.
Good.
That's why I
think good. A round of applause for you. Thank you very much. And I used another word for objective in presentation when I was describing the theory of communication. What is that other word that I used? Do you remember it? What is the other word?
No, sir.
Okay, I said feedback. The intended feedback.
Feedback, okay.
Yes. When you are talking about objective in terms of communication, you are talking about the feedback that you are expecting. What is the feedback you are expecting from an interview session, for instance? What's the feedback? What's the objective? The feedback and objective in an interview session that shows that you have convinced them is to have an offer letter at the end of the day, or to call you for the next stage. All right? Okay, so that they are convinced and they shortlist you for the next stage or for the final stage and bring the offer letter. What is the feedback objective in a sales speech, in a sales promotion? Is that your client or customer is convinced to part with their money to try the product. Okay, that's the feedback. Okay, that's the feedback you expect. Right. So the second question: what are the key factors required for effective presentation? Key factors for your presentation to be effective. Can you hazard this question? Can you attempt this question? Key factors required for effective presentation. Is there any? Can you try it?
Key factors. Okay.
Do you remember what I said was effective presentation in first instance?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, I quickly had to step out of the...
Okay, sorry. So remember first of all, what is an effective presentation first? What's an effective presentation?
An effective presentation is when you've gotten feedback from the person. I think that's when you talk about coding and decoding.
Aha. Now, from that framework, what are the factors that can hinder effective presentation or factors that can enable effective presentation?
I think first you talked about the person's body language.
Perfect. No, I want you. I want you to have structured thinking. I used the model when I was discussing. I said you can judge the effectiveness from the perspective of number one, the sender, the receiver, the message, and the feedback loop itself. So, what are factors that determines effective presentation from the perspective of the sender, perspective of the receiver, perspective of the message, and perspective of the loop, the channel of feedback? So that will help you, structure your thinking. Now you can have a go at it.
Okay. I remember the last one you were talking about was I know you talked about managing your body language. You talked about predicting the follow-up questions and a lasting impression.
Good. So those factors have to do with who? The sender of the message.
The presenter.
Good.
The sender of the message.
Good. The presenter. Now, what are some factors that has to do with the receiver? The factors that can affect your effective presentation.
I think talked about noise.
Good. Noise affects the feedback channel and the message itself. Okay. But the mood, I think, it wasn't Gbemi that said that, the mood of the sender, the educational level of the sender, the understanding level of the sender, of the receiver rather, sorry. All right. If the receiver is not a techie person and you the sender, you are speaking techie issues to them, the educational level will affect their understanding and their reception. Their mood, if they are not in a very receptive mood, they won't buy what you are saying. That's why people who sell on the road, the first thing is that they smile at you to raise your mood to be receptive. Do you understand that? You break down their body defenses so that they are open to listening to you. These factors have to do with the receiver. You get it? It's like an African language that says the hungry stomach does not listen to sermon. Do you understand that? The hungry tummy cannot receive any message. So you want them to be in the right frame of mind. And that's why I said, if you want to make your communication effective, you have to look at all the 5 W's and H of communication. The how, the when, the how being the H, the when, the where, the why, the who, and the what. You have to look at all these things to make it effective. Okay? Then the message itself must be just appropriate quantity. Don't give information overload. Based on understanding your audience, you will know the appropriate message they can receive per time. Appropriate message a nursery pupil can receive is different from the amount of appropriate message that a class 6 pupil will receive. Okay, so you must know what to feed them per time. You may know a lot of things and you want to push a lot of things down their throat at once. It may be overload and yet to lead to ineffective communication and ineffective presentation. All right, good. Are we together? Is there any, are we together?
Sir.
Okay, good. Now,
yes, sir.
Yes, let's look at question 3 together. Describe how you have used your communication skill at a particular time to persuade your colleague or team members to adopt your idea or recommendation. Can you give me an instance? Question 3, can you give me an instance? Try it.
Okay, okay, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My network keeps going off.
No worry, I can hear you.
Okay, so there was an instance, there was a situation where we needed, I needed to, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. I
Okay.
can hear you.
So there was an instance where I needed to convince my colleagues to come together with me to apply for new chairs in the office, new ergonomic chairs, you know, the ones that have proper back support and all. Yes. So I remember explaining to them how long we have to work in the office, how many hours we're usually at our desk. I explained to them the effects in the future if we keep using these chairs that are not good for our backs, the back aches and other health issues that could arise from it. Gave them examples of people who I know have retired and are having major back problems. Give them examples of people in the office as well who have complained of, you know, back aches and all. Maybe during the weekends when they're home with their families, they complain about back aches and things. And I spoke to the particular colleagues that I know have are confident enough to stand with me or to be able to stand with my case, like in front of management. So it was accepted and the chairs in the office were changed.
Wow. That was a good one. Great. So you see, you pushed a benefit presentation, not just the futures. If all you went to do with your colleagues and management was you were just comparing chair for chair and not connecting the impact of the old chair on the health and productivity of your colleagues, maybe that sales pitch would not have gone through. So that was a good one. All right. Okay. So the next question is, what strategy will you use to convince a key personnel of an organization to award you a contract? Okay, similar to what you have said. No, sorry, I won't waste time on that. Similar to what you have said. No, you just don't forget I've said to convince a key personnel. This is a key personnel, maybe the director of operations, okay, or director of works, or director of HR. You want them to give you the recruitment contract for their company. All right. How will you convince them? Okay. So it's part of what you've said. You must, in the main, you must make a benefit presentation. You must understand the organization very well and show that you understand what they do, and understand their need, and that you can meet the need even and provide value. I think that's just it. All right. Let us look at audience expectations. Audience expectations. Okay. Very quickly, I noted here that you must be prepared. You must arrive timely, speak patiently and clearly, lucidly, if you want to connect with your audience. And you must give them valuable information. It is valuable information that makes audience to be engaged to the end. Valuable information. Okay, it may not be necessarily new things. It may be old things that they have not connected to their problem. That's what makes it valuable. It may be information at their fingertips that they don't know how to make good use of, or they've not connected well with how it can help them resolve the problem on their supply chain, on their production line. So you must give valuable information. Okay, please don't forget this. So there are in planning your presentation, there are some things you do, okay, well before even the presentation. There are some things you do when you arrive at the presentation location, okay, and there are some things you do during the presentation. So these are all about understanding and planning to meet audience expectations. You can't meet expectations if you don't plan before, during, and even after. Okay, to close up the sale, you must learn how to close the sale. Okay, this is important. Are we clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. So let us see some other things you can do in terms of preparing. Some things you can do in preparing is research about your audience, their demographics, their psychographics, and their media habits. Demographics are the characteristics of the audience in terms of their age, education level, okay, and their gender, things like that, okay. Their psychographics is their thought pattern, the paradigm, their worldview, okay. That's the way they think. That's the psychographics, all right? Okay, maybe they have a worldview that is parochial, okay? You can't come with a global worldview and they will receive it. So you have to understand where they are, so as to meet them from where they are before you can move on to the general, okay? Then their media habits, okay? What kind of media do they consume easily? Do they understand easily? You came to a group of market women with a lot of charts. Their media habit does not resonate well with charts. But if you come with maybe a drama, maybe a video to amplify what you are saying, it connects better with them. Okay, visuals, but not visuals like charts. Okay, they don't understand it. They don't have that kind of level of learning and education. Okay. So you must understand their media habits. Okay, what kind of media they consume, when they consume it, when it's best to address them. Okay. Likewise, I will say that in meeting your audience expectation, you don't only research about the audience. Okay, you must also determine, okay, the kind of research you must do. Is it primary? Is it secondary? Okay, it depends on the subject matter and the audience. The subject matter and the audience will determine the kind of research you will do. Is it just desktop research, which is more of secondary research, or you have to really distribute some questionnaires, go to the market even to do those research first, if you cannot get them from secondary sources. Okay, so this is all about getting information that will resonate value and benefits to your audience. All right. Sometimes also, among the audience, you can have a case study of survey. Okay, questions, before the session that you have sent ahead to them to gather information about their demographics, psychographics, and media habits. It is, for instance, you want to, maybe you are in a training organization, and you want to get some pre-conference, pre-workshop information about the audience. You can do that. You want to know the level at which they are on the subject matter, so as to address them. You want to know their pain points. You want to know even the things that they really want to take out as learning, their own personal learning objectives after the session. Sometimes you may not be able to send such questionnaires or surveys ahead. It might be just at the beginning of your class. As you are starting that, you ask them, what do they expect to take out of here? And you write it down. Okay, and you are clear in your mind what's the expectation, so as to know where to address your presentation and how to meet this objective. So one of the things we do also in gathering data to prepare a presentation, maybe through interviews. Okay, and you must also frame your questions about, at the beginning of the presentation, frame your questions. Okay, begin to think about even the questions, even in the minds of your audience, and how to address them. Also, the kind of questions you will ask them that will elicit even the kind of desired response, even and participation. You use questions to draw them out to participate. For instance, even though I'm doing a Zoom webinar now, I'm using question approach to draw you to participate and to be engaged. Else, it is possible that my audience may be distracted and doing other things. Okay, so you must frame your questions at the beginning and also engage them with these questions. Likewise, as part of planning to meet the expectations, as part of preparation, decide on which icebreaker you want to use. The icebreaker I used today, if you notice, was that you would do an elevator speech, an extempore speech. Immediately I came on, we introduced ourselves through the elevator speech. Okay, it helped diffuse the tension between the presenter and the audience, and it helps the audience from the beginning to feel part of the presentation. Do you understand that? It's a beautiful one. All right. And so,
yes, sir.
All right. So, and also part of your preparation will be familiar with the level of knowledge we said, and also be familiar with the venue of the presentation. For instance, if you're not familiar with the venue of the presentation, you may even arrive at the venue very late. Apart from that, understand the ergonomic arrangement of the place, so as to know and anticipate and prepare even how you can move around, how you want to arrange your chairs, your seats, and things like that. Okay, where are the sockets? Where can I? So it won't be that it's on the day of presentation you are just coming and you are unsettled. These are some of the things that causes people in presentation to be fearful, to be unsettled, because they're not familiar with the environment. So you might have done, maybe even if it's a virtual tour of the environment, okay, or a physical tour, it's better you do that. Okay, and we said some of the other things that can help you to understand and plan to meet audience expectation is that you must define who your target audience is. Be clear. Having done that pre-workshop survey, it will help you ascertain their expectations. And from your pre-survey, you might, or the people that invited you for that speech, the organizers, you can get information about the audience attitude towards the topic. If it's a very sensitive topic, if it's a topical topic that is often debated, you will know, so that you will know also how to address it. And please guard against egocentrism. Don't dominate, the discussion. Allow conversations. And likewise, don't allow dominant figures in the audience to dominate the discussion. Why? You don't put them down, but you stylishly, gently divert discussion to the less prominent individuals, so everyone participate in the discussion. Also, you must be able to anticipate your audience size, because this affects either formality or informality. Your audience size. If it is a very big hall, you will anticipate how you can connect better with them, bigger audience. If it's a small audience, it can affect your seating arrangement. It can affect how you will relate with them. All right. Then you should anticipate also, demographic factors, which I've said. Okay, and make the best use of the setting. Just make the best use of the setting. Okay. Adapt to the audience. This is what this says. Adapt to their style. Now, based on information you have received, you must learn how to adapt. I don't say because it's how I've planned the presentation and anything changes immediately, when you are on site, you must be able to adapt to it. It's your presentation anyway, all right? Adapt and adapt well. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Good. All right. And I said, use an audience-centered and objective approach. Okay, from your preparation, you will know the kind of audience, you will know the kind of level of understanding, you know the language that appeals to them more. The language that appeals to professors is even the language that appeals to students. Okay, so you learn to use the language that appeals to them. This is where empathy comes from. Okay, this is where being authentic also comes from. Okay, empathy is when you're credible and you're understandable of who they are and you connect easily with them. All right, you must respect the audience. Don't speak down at the audience. Okay, don't even speak to the audience. Speak with them. This is what I mean. Be engaging. Respect is very important. Okay, no matter how knowledgeable you are, no matter how illiterate the audience is, please connect these ways. It's very important. Okay. Very important. All right. Let's attempt these questions if we can very quickly. Which method, in your own opinion, will you consider as the most appropriate for research and learning about your audience prior to a presentation? And justify your method. Which method do you think will be most appropriate for researching and learning about your audience? Can you attempt it?
Yes, I should be able to.
Okay, try it.
So I would do probably for researching and learning about. I would do a survey.
Okay.
I will send them a survey to fill.
All right.
Yes, asking them questions. So.
Okay, why? So justify your choice. Why?
I think a survey, first of all, there's a bit of, it gives you a bit of knowledge about how much that person knows or how much knowledge that person knows about that particular subject or topic. I would also use a survey because I think it will give me a wider range of information about the audience I'm about to present to.
Okay. Okay. All right. I am coming now, please. Please, I'm coming. All right. Let me say this. It looks like a trick question because you must know something before you decide the method to use. You must have understood the kind of audience before you know even the method for collecting information that will be best. All right? The subject matter you want also to discuss will determine whether the information is available in a written form somewhere before, or you need to do a primary data collection, the kind of the one you suggest. For instance, if you want to speak to market women, will survey work among market women?
No, but okay. I think I will be able to still do some form of probably not a written question, so some form of interviews.
Do you understand that? I'm just, I'm helping you to begin to provoke your thoughts about appropriateness is always determined in terms of, number one, your objective, number two, your audience. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to, so I'm happy that you are getting it right now. So some of the key considerations you put, in mind for proper adaptation. For instance, I said you must be able to adapt your presentation to the audience. Okay, so some key considerations are their demographics, psychographics, and their media habits. Don't forget, I explained. Yes. Okay. So these are key considerations. What is the? Are they all women? Are they within age 16 to 45? Are they all from one part of the country? You understand that it will help you to adapt your presentation very well and suit them. The kind of pictures and images you will use in the northern Nigeria, are different from the images you will use in southern Nigeria. The kind of images you will use, okay, if you are presenting to school children, may be different from amplifying visuals that you will use when you're presenting to adults. Okay, so examples so you must understand the demographics, psychographics, and media habits. Let's look at question 3. Why it is important to meet and exceed audience expectation, which is not always the case. A presenter is left with the option of managing these expectations. Which audience management strategies do you consider to be most practicable? Audience management strategies do you consider to be the most practicable? Support your answer with your evidence. Do you understand what we mean by that? Audience management strategies.
Yeah, you talked about I think when you were talking about the like talking to the audience and not at them.
Thank you.
Doing an analysis of the audience, yes.
Yes, I talk about respect. I talk about empathy.
Empathy,
you remember?
Yes.
Aha, okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
When you're talking about a touchy topic.
Good. Thank you.
You also talked about preparation.
Good.
Like going there on time.
Good. So these are some audience management strategies. You arrive there, you are not, free jetting. You arriving there also allows you to have connected to one or two in the audience. So already you have some people in your in-group. You've asked for their name before we got started. Okay, you've met one or two amongst them. Okay, ask for the expectations on a one-on-one basis. So already they develop a likability for you. All right. So you've broken down their ice already. So these are some of the audience management strategies, that you apply even before starting. Okay, thank you. I like the fact that you're fast in catching these things. Great. All right, let's look at determining the title of your presentation. There are several ways in which you can determine the title of the presentation. They can give you a conference theme. Okay, for instance, the CIPM conference theme for this year, they just give and they say, okay, please develop a topic for me. Or you want to write to a magazine. I said, this magazine is focused on this for this month. So please submit articles that are aligned to that theme. So you can submit several topics that align to a theme. Likewise, you can get titles from major topical issues of interest in the society, in your organization as at the time you are writing. For instance, globally now, what will be one of the major topical titles that you can write on or you can speak on that will give value to the audience? Give me one or two topics of topical interest globally now.
Effects of work productivity.
Okay, work productivity, good. Then what else? Okay, let's look at it this way. Don't forget I said
adapting to work from home, working from home.
Perfect. Because of the pandemic, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. So adapting to work from home will be something of interest. So if you want to speak on this on your Instagram channel, or on your Facebook, page, or on your YouTube channel, you will find that people will want to listen because it's of interest. It's a topical thing now. Okay, and that flows also onto the audience interest analysis. This, in terms of, if for instance you judge the most trending hashtag on Twitter now, it can help you to determine your title or topic of presentation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Then there are some particular things that you yourself, you find that this is a life calling, is a passion for me. I want to use my life to solve this problem. That may be an area where you can also easily get topics from. So from the presenter's passion, okay, from the audience interest analysis, maybe you do an hashtag, analysis, on any of the social media. You see the most trending issues. You write on it. You speak on it. Okay, you find that riding on the wave, the crest of the trending hashtag, immediately your own presentation also will trend, and this is what makes presentation also to quickly resonate with people. All right, and also topical issues in the society, and also from the conference team. These are just few. Okay, this helps you to catch the attention of the audience when your topic aligns very well with things of interest to them. So there are several things you can do to get your topic right. We say, and don't be ambiguous, don't be confusing, okay? And also there is something by Ibel and Weaver in 2004. They gave a guide for how you can select a topic. One of the guides they gave is that from your personal inventory, which has to do with your hobbies, your interests, your leisure, unusual occurrences, your unique skills, and all that, topical issues. They said also you can check the internet. I've told you, for instance, the trending hashtag is from the internet. Okay, you can get topical issues from there. Then you can. Do you know that I can also do a Twitter poll to ask for topics of interest in this area, and people will answer me. Okay, I can do that internet brainstorming, generation of ideas, and all that. So you can do all these kinds of things. Okay. All right. But don't forget, in writing, there are guiding, there are some guiding principle before you do an appropriate title. The title must not be more than 10 to 12 words. It must be used in descriptive terms, and you use active phrases, not passive phrases. Okay? Then your topic must speak to the core or the body of your presentation. When I see the topic, it should give me an idea of what you'll be speaking about. Then I said use active phrases, not passive phrases. For instance, how to work from home. That's an active phrase. Working from home, how to, is passive. Okay, you must understand that active phrases create a kind of, it excites the brain. It creates action. Because it focuses on the subject, and the verbal power is strong. So it steers up people even to want to consider and take a second look at it. And because it's not too long, just 10 to 12 words maximally. Okay, it's not also boring. Okay, and it's descriptive of what the content will be. Right. These are some of the styles you can use. Let your title tell a story, descriptive. Let it be a sentence with a benefit. Okay, let it have keywords that align to the objective of your of your presentation. Let it arouse curiosity. Okay, the power of 3. No, don't forget that. Don't use more than 3 keywords in your title, all right? So that people will be focused. Okay, that's the power of 3. Not more than 3 keywords. If possible, 1 central keyword driving the focus home. That's it. Okay. All right. I said here, in determining, an effective headline, you must let it align with your audience. You must deliver on the benefit. You must address a pain and a problem. It must stir up curiosity and evoke urgency. Don't forget, these are just strategies for making your title to be effective. Okay, it must align with your audience. It must speak to the benefit. It must, also help to address a problem, stir up curiosity, and also have an element of curiosity. All right, this is very important. The benefit of such topics in and in presentation, I noted here, in face-to-face presentation, it helps to build trust and strengthen relationships. It's easier to engage the audience, and it helps to be flexible. So these are some of the things. Okay, it helps to be consistent, and also versatile. All right. So these are speaking to some of the other things I've said. I want just to go on to the next thing here, which is the convincing skills. Convincing skills. You must know that if you want to be convincing in terms of presentation, you must note these 5 C's of communication.
Sorry, my network keeps going off.
Oh, so sorry.
Hello, sir.
All right, I'm with you. Can you hear me clearly now?
I think his network went off.
Mine?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think his network went off.
Hello, my network is. Can you